Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Jessica Smith. I am a homeschooling mama to 4 boys now and a homeschool graduate myself, as well as a certified family life educator. So today I'm going to talk about our daily rhythm. Now there are a lot of homeschooling moms that share their daily rhythms, but sometimes it's nice just to see how someone else does it, especially if they have a newborn. So if you want to know a little bit more about how my family does homeschool, what our style is, there is a video that I made called Family Style Homeschooling, or how to adapt the Charlotte Mason method to family style homeschooling. So you can watch that. We still do Family Gather, which is about an hour where we do content-based subjects. Then we take a break for some physical movement, and then we do individual learning time. So I'm going to share a secret to getting school done every day and not feeling guilty if you don't get everything done. So the secret is to have a ceiling goal, which is everything is going well and I get everything done on my list kind of day. So your ceiling goal is everything that you want to get done, all the school subjects for that day. And then the floor goal is the subjects that are most important, the essentials that you really want to get done every day, very simplified as well. So our ceiling goal is everything in the Charlotte Mason Feast, everything on our weekly schedule. And if you're interested in what our weekly and daily schedules look like, I will put a link to those PDFs in the description. And then our floor goal, which is the absolute minimum, is 3 things. We read aloud their favorite school book. Now it needs to be their favorite because you want their attention and you want them to enjoy it, because if you're only doing your floor goals for that day, then things probably aren't going so well. Either you're sick, your kids are sick, they're wiggly, they're distracted, or you have some big field trip or something else you need to get done that day. So you want it short, simple, and power-packed. So the favorite school book, then either you or your kids pick a couple sentences from that book and copy them down. Look at the punctuation, the grammar, the capitalization, and the spelling of the words. Older kids could dictate this, and I'll show you what copywork and dictation are in a different video. But for now, just copy down that sentence. Having them notice everything like the grammar and punctuation in the sentence should take 5 to 10 minutes or less. And then the last thing is to do some math. And I'm not just talking about like do a whole lesson or a worksheet. I'm talking about something fun. You could practice multiplication facts. You could, which is my boy's favorite, is to do story problems. Whatever concept they're learning about in math, have them make up their own problems, preferably story problems. They are probably going to be really silly. They could be serious, but in my case, it's usually really silly. And this is really good for them to apply the math that they are learning, use their imagination, and it's also just fun. So those are the 3 things that we do absolutely every day, no matter what. It takes less than a half hour, and I feel like we got something accomplished on that day. Most days we do get all of our feast done, our ceiling goals done. But if it's not a good day, at least we got our floor goals, and my kids are learning. And I don't feel guilty if we don't get everything done. Now I will show you what our daily rhythm looks like with a newborn. So every night I look over what needs to be done for the next day. I've made daily and weekly schedules both for our family gather and for my individual boys. In a Charlotte Mason education, she recommended adding additional subjects for each age. So my older son has a few more subjects than my younger son. And so I look over his weekly and daily schedule, and I put a checklist in each boy's notebook of the subjects that need to be done for that day. Additionally, I add the amount of time that they need to do it, and then a suggestion of the pages, or at least the pages that they left off from the last day, and then the lesson numbers that they also need to do or start working on. Now, Charlotte Mason recommended that children work on a subject for a certain amount of time, which I also highly recommend because it is much more developmentally appropriate and it just is so much easier for kids to work on something when they can visually see when it will be done. I use these special timers that I got from Amazon, visual timers. So especially my middle son, it's easier for him to work when he knows, okay, this is going to end in 5 minutes. Whereas lessons, they just see this as a really long lesson and they feel like it's never going to end. But the time is much easier for them. So I put the time next to their subject and then also pages to read or lessons to work on during that time. So most mornings, I'm not able to get up before my kids. So I have the boys' notebooks ready on the table so they can begin their individual work as soon as they wake up. Honestly, they don't usually start it before I wake up, but it is there if they want to get a head start on the day. Because I have a newborn and he wakes up 2 to 3 times a night, maybe more, to eat, I'm just pretty tired and sleep in longer than I used to. So as soon as I get up, we eat breakfast and start our family gather. So family gather and individual learning time are two different things that we do in the morning. So family gather is when we learn about things as a family, obviously, and those subjects instill truth, beauty, and goodness. They are content-based subjects like history, nature study, scriptures, poetry, art, and music. After our family gather, I immediately record what we did. For each subject, I write down which book we read, which pages. For artist and composer study, I will write down which painting or which song we listened to. And I will also write down which object lesson we did for nature study. And I like to record any little notes like which questions the boys asked or any good discussions that we had. Between our gather and our individual learning time, we do something physical. We go on a walk, we play outside, or do an exercise video in our basement. Another thing we like to do in between the family gather and individual learning time is to kind of reset the brain and to exercise both hemispheres of the brain by doing some brain balancing exercises. If you're interested in that, give me a comment below and I can give you some resources. During individual learning time, the boys do skill-based subjects like math and language arts. And then they can also work on their self-chosen and self-directed projects. So during individual learning time, I will spend about 15 minutes helping my boys with any subject that they need help with. Usually it is math or dictation. So with math, I teach my 2 younger boys more hands-on teacher-intensive lessons. With my older son, he does CTC math online, so he is much more independent in doing math, but my younger ones still need help with math lessons. Sometimes the older ones will help the younger ones if I'm feeding the baby or making lunch. One of my boys actually really enjoys teaching his younger brother. And this is one of the great things about homeschooling. Children love having responsibility, and when they're helping each other, both kids are learning. So don't forget to utilize your kids as tutors for younger children. Ideally, we are done at noon and eat lunch together. Then the kids are free for the day to work on their afternoon activities like instrument practice and self-chosen projects. We have a requirement of being outside for 2 hours if the weather is good. So this is a time that the kids can play, or we go to the park across the street as a family and just spend an hour or 2 in nature. Sometimes we walk to the library, play with friends. Sports, music lessons, and homeschool group all meet in the afternoon and the evenings. I try to reserve at least 2 hours of unstructured time for the boys to play and relax every day, usually after lunch. One of the many benefits of homeschooling is that morning lessons are short so that we can do extracurricular activities and play with friends every day while still benefiting from that 2 hours of unstructured time where they can play and be bored. Our daily rhythm is a balance between formal structured lessons and self-education or kind of unschooling. I love the idea of unschooling, but I also think it's really important to introduce kids to subjects that they may not have chosen on their own. So having a family gather time and an individual learning time achieves that awesome balance. So I have a little bit of both. If you have any questions about our daily rhythm, please leave a comment below. And if you like this video, don't forget to subscribe so you'll get notified when there are more like it.